weird and boggling things. First time I've seen this chocolate, Mother chocolate. It's basically green. It says Mother on it. It says, Moser Roth. Moser Roth, you can kind of see the front of it there. This chocolate is extremely small. When I first saw it, I thought it was bigger. There's a box, quite a large box. Well, it's a bar. Think about a pretty much straight up Wonka ticket. You get the golden ticket. You got even Ghirardelli. I would even say there might be some Toblerone sizes. These bars are the bigger ones that you see right before you check out. You got Ghirardelli, or mostly you have Dove. No, you'd have any of those chocolate bars. We're talking like it's almost, the huge ones that are practically that big. This is exactly what I thought was going to be this. It's going to be one giant box. It was in this one small container. It had, or bar that had multiples of these. I thought that it was basically going to be the whole thing, right? Usually you have these giant chocolates. You get either Ghirardelli or you'd get one of those, and they're big. And when you open those, you think you have to break it off piece by piece, right? Hershey. There's a large Hershey chocolate bar. You need to break it off piece by piece. That's the anticipation that I had going into this. And basically what I thought that I would see or eat. But in actuality, imagine if they took a giant chocolate bar and they took every section of it and they broke it down and they put it individually packaged parts in each of those sections. So what you have is you have individually packaged chocolate sections inside of a giant bar. That makes for a lot of an easier, it's actually, you can portion yourself out a little bit more because it looks like it's somewhat shareable. If you had a giant chocolate bar and I'm trying to give you a piece, you want to try and give me a piece and you're breaking it off and you're using hands and whatnot, it's a little bit less accessible. Almost like taking a giant piece of candy and instead of having little bags, each one's individually wrapped, just have a giant starburst and you're breaking it off piece by piece, getting grease and getting all this kind of like dirt everywhere, whatever you have if you don't wash your hands or anything like that. Not very accessible, especially if you're trying to share it with friends and family or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But that is what I had anticipated seeing when I first saw this one, and that was not what it was. So when I opened it, I was pleasantly surprised that Moser Roth, is extremely individually packaged. This one, it says it's private chocolate. So, no, private chocolatiers. 25 gram, or, hold on. I don't know what this is. I'm not sure if this is dark or not. Green, obviously, make sure you take a big whiff of it. It smells like it's somewhat of a dark chocolate. Immediately, you kind of get that dark chocolate scent. And I forgot what it looked like when I bought this, but the green package, it makes it seem kind of like it's somewhat of a minty green, some kind of a winter fresh, or not winter fresh, minty green, minty kind of smell, taste. Whatever. That's usually the green chocolates where they have those mint leaves on it. This has nothing on it. Obviously, you saw it just has the wrapper. It had the original wrapper on it, just a Moser Roth. And this is basically the smallest chocolate bar. This is great for individuality because it kind of lets you pace yourself. You get a big bar, you're not going to want to eat the whole thing at once. You're going to want to pace yourself unless you're, somewhat fatty. You can't control yourself. There's no self-control. You can open it and eat the whole thing. But this is pretty good. If you open it like this, you can kind of see the chocolate. It's mint. Well, no. Well, it is. That's really strange. First whiff you get is exactly what you think. It's exactly what you would expect from the chocolate. Very dark. That's just a whiff. That's the smell. It's not necessarily the taste. When you eat it yourself, you actually do get a somewhat of a minty taste. I think the actual box did say on it whether it was mint or not. It did say it was mint, and it did say that it was mint with some kind of maybe dark chocolate flavors. I'm not sure exactly. Definitely more dark than milk. Well, somewhat. I think this is one of the best dark chocolates I've had. Primarily because of the mint factor. You don't always get dark chocolate with mint mixing very well. In fact, really, because mint is so, it seems like mint is so flavorful, or it's so people get it kind of synonymous with like sweetness. You're not usually going to get a dark chocolate with mint. you get dark chocolate with other kind of flavors, maybe some salt, maybe something a little bit more tart, like a cherry, but mint, tangerine, even red berries. We're going to have the more sweeter chocolates. Straight up, just kind of milk chocolates. This is an interesting mix.